So for the last couple of weeks, Trump has claimed voter fraud for the dwindling amount of people who actually believe him. The funny thing, though, is that he's only claiming fraud in states that he lost. What looks very suspicious to me, it's Mitch McConnell. Not only beating his Democratic challenger, Amy McGrath, but beating her by like 25 points. No, wait, hold on a sec. That's not Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry. That's a little technical error there. Anyway. So, Mitch McConnell is a guy who calls himself who is called Moscow Mitch, and calls himself the Grim Reaper of the Senate, and he really loves that second nickname. So, Stacey, what is your take on the Grim Reaper heading back to the Senate and the 2020 election overall?
So, 2020 election overall, I was not shocked by the outcome, but pleasantly surprised, I would say. Going into it, I felt that there was a good chance that Trump would win the election, actually, because his vote, his base of supporters is still solid, and it will continue to be solid for some time. And although Joe Biden was eminently qualified to be president of the United States, I just didn't know whether or not turnout would support him being elected president of the United States. So I'm happy that it did. With regards to McConnell, I feel like Mitch McConnell's philosophy is going to be the same under a Biden presidency as it was under Obama. McConnell will largely view Biden as Obama 2.0 and stick with his stated mission of opposing every single thing that the president-elect would offer as potential legislation, and just being the chief obstructionist on Capitol Hill. And there is no one person that needs to be voted off the Hill more than Mitch McConnell.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things where there's, they've talked to Obama, they've talked to Biden about, okay, why didn't they get more done throughout their term? And they're kind of coy about it, but the answer is Mitch McConnell. I mean, he stopped them from doing everything, and Democrats really showed up in the 2018 midterms when this blue wave. But I'm a little worried there. After everything that happened this year with the pandemic, Trump, all the crazy stuff Trump's done, and they lost seats in the House, it kind of makes things not look so good for 2022.
It does, but there is a little bit of hope in that in Georgia, they will have runoff elections on January 5th for Senate. And we're hoping that there will be strong turnout for that runoff election. In fact, if we see the kind of participation we saw for the presidential election, there is some hope that Democrats will gain those 2 Senate seats. It is still a very, very competitive race, though. But in my mind, it shouldn't be. It's not like either one of the sitting senators from that state at this point have stellar records. In fact, Loeffler was a person who found out, actually Loeffler and Purdue, I believe, found out about the incoming pandemic wave and used that information to divest of some stock that they owned in advance of some declines in the stock market. That's a definition of unethical, and those people should not be on Capitol Hill representing the good citizens of the state of Georgia.
Absolutely. They were way more interested in representing their own bank account than they were the people of Georgia.
Absolutely.
Sure. Absolutely. And yeah, that's, this also up with Lindsey Graham in North Carolina. I was getting North and South confused. Sorry if I messed that up. But yeah, I did not see him, having such a commanding defeat over Jamie Harrison.
One thing I will say about that is that you can't discount race in that election. South Carolina is a red state that's not likely to change. There's entrenched, dispassion for politicians of color. And that's a trend that I think will eventually change, but that state still has some progress to make in terms of those things.
And one thing Democrats can also look to is that if you look in Georgia, where Stacey Abrams, she lost her gubernatorial race.
Yep.
She may have lost, but the kind of inroads that she set in place there are what a big part of why Biden actually did win the state.
Yeah. Stacey Abrams, let me tell you, will go down in history as a person who might appear to be an underdog, but ultimately wound up in a role that changed the course of U.S. history. I feel like Joe Biden was right. This was a fight for the soul of America. And what Stacey Abrams did with Fair Fight was get out the vote and change the outcome and the color of the state of Georgia, turning it blue. And that was critical to winning this presidential election. And I applaud her and see her as being a power broker in politics for years to come.
Absolutely. I will definitely have a drink to her. And hey, what I say, people named Stacey are usually pretty cool. So
true.
So true.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching Citizen Pete. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, click that little subscribe button, maybe the like button, and hey, maybe just leave a comment. You know, I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think about all the politics, the news, and all the stuff that's going on in our country?